Good morning everyone, it's Paul from BSN here. I'm actually down at a customer's house today where they've specified a decorative wall, feature wall in their new sitting room. The house is being renovated at the moment, there's builders working around, and they're going to have a Volterra wall here in the colour Surrey Hills, which is a really beautiful green colour. First of all, I've got to tape off and mask off the other areas because it's nice and clean here now, and then we'll work from there. This is the wall in question. So I'm going to be not working on that return wall there, but actually working down just this single wall to the corner. I've got an added bonus here of there's a hole in the floor here cut for the new staircase when it comes in. So I've got to be a little bit careful about where I step and where I can work on this particular wall. So that should be fun. Looking around the room, there's it's a very low entrance there. I've already hit my head once, so I'll try not to do that again. And then there's electrics and plumbing and so on, all ready for the new kitchen when it comes. So now I've masked off the wall and the sides, trying to keep everything as clean as we possibly can. We've put a sheet of plywood over the plasterboard and over the holes so they don't fall down, which is always good, safety. So with Volterra is a decorative lime paint plaster hybrid, and the first stage of it is to use, first stage of the process is to use the velvet, which is Autentico wall paint. That's in the colour Surrey Hills, which is the colour that we're going to have on the, it's the colour that we're going to have on the Volterra. So we put a base coat of the velvet. You can see advertised in the supermarket, but this carrier bag over the paint tray makes life easier for cleaning up afterwards. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and paint the wall. So Autentico's velvet is a very thick, creamy kind of wall paint. Very, very good quality, very good coverage. And it just goes on so easily. Just make sure I'm just cutting in there with a brush, but the coverage is just excellent, really. So you can see there, so I'm literally just cutting in with a brush, and then I'll be back with my roller. I've just finished applying the base coat now, so it's a bit wet. You can see it looks patchy, but it will dry down so that it's nice and even. I've used maybe 1 litre of paint, something like that. This wall is approximately 12 square metres, so, and this is just one hand of paint. The coverage is just awesome. So yeah, we're not going to have a problem. With the Volterra system, it's basically the velvet or even vintage paint as a chalk paint base. Gives the lime base to adhere to, but also it works in conjunction to produce some really nice effects through the Volterra paint. I'll show you the Volterra paint very shortly. So the Volterra system is designed to be used by people in their own homes. It's not something that you need specialist applicators to come and do for you. And it's a much easier system to use. So I've just put the paint, you can see behind me here, as the base coat on the wall. Once that's dry, and on the Gips carton, the plasterboard, it will be dry fairly quickly, then I can start applying the Volterra paint over it. Now this particular customer wants a smooth, fairly smooth finish and not textured, but you can have a lot of fun with Volterra making textures, using stencils, pigments, you can have loads of fun. In the Volterra itself, there are some marble pigments in there, so when it's burnished afterwards, then they do come through and create like a slight marbling effect and so on. But as I say, you don't need specialist applicators. You can certainly do this in your own home. It takes a little bit of practice, but not much, and then you're off and running. Whereas some of the systems on the market, the base coat would have to go on and wait 24 hours and then come back, do first coat of the coating, and then wait 24 hours, sand it, put another coat over it, wait 24 hours, put another coat over it, or sand it or whatever, and then apply the finishes afterwards. So a wall like this, which is 12 square meters, could take 4 days to do it. Now I'm going to try and do this in 1 day. I could leave the paint here overnight and then come back tomorrow, but because it's on Gips Carton, then it, which is plasterboard in Bulgarian, it will be dry in an hour or so, and then I can start applying the Volterra over it. The paint base and the Volterra paint are the same colour in this instance, because that's what the client wanted, but there are options then for doing lighter shades, darker shades underneath, and then making textures and so on. So you see the darker shade or the lighter shade underneath kind of breaking through as you make textures through the skim finish. And Volterra is basically a skim finish. So yeah, give it an hour or so and then I shall start on the Volterra. Right, I just want to show you the Autentico Volterra. It's a mineral texture paint, lime base. It's got several different types of lime in there. You can see how, if I come back, you can see how thick it is. It's a very, I use the lid here to show you, it's very thick. It doesn't run. Let me try and use a spatula for a second. Here you go. Yeah, it is quite thick. So it's kind of a hybrid paint. Some people use brushes to apply it. I like to use a trowel, and I've got my hawk there for the material. And once this wall is dry in a little while, then I shall start to apply it, and you'll see how lovely it is. So as you can see, I've made a start on the behind me. I'm going to do a bit of a time lapse now. This is what the material looks like on the hawk, and you can see how kind of thick and creamy it is. I say a lot of people use a brush. I use a trowel. This is my favourite one. We sell these, obviously, but they are really cool. They're Italian made trowels, and they're tapered top to bottom. You probably see it maybe better that way. I don't know. But they are tapered, and they're just ideal for applying this material. And I have to be really careful about not putting it on the floor. I'm under warning from the site manager. So yeah, I'm going to make a bit of a time-lapse video. I do not claim to be a plasterer. I'm what you might call somebody who's experienced in this application of this product now because we sell it, but I'm definitely not a plasterer. So if there are any real plasterers watching, please don't cry too much, hey? Because this surface underneath is very, very porous, it's drying very quickly, so there's not a lot of time to work it, but I will show you later on what we can achieve with it. The idea is not to get a smooth skim surface. There is some texture to it. It's possible to leave gaps as well and see the paint underneath. In this case, I'm going to cover a lot of that, but there will be some areas where it will be thinner on the skim than other areas, but just yeah, you'll see what it is in the end. It'll make sense later on, I hope. I'm taking you for a little close-up now, so you can see where I've gone a bit heavier in places and lighter in the other. Some texture starting to appear maybe. I don't know if you can see it. But because it's lime based and there's 3 different types of lime in here, it dries slightly different rates, but it's actually drying very quickly today because of the plasterboard underneath, which gives a very porous surface. But then it gives you lots of different shades as it dries, but it will actually dry in different shades as well. And tomorrow afternoon or something, I'll need to come back here and just do the burnishing. Certainly after 24 hours. I'll just burnish it, which is polishing the plaster, just skimming the trowel over it, but I'll come to that at the end of the video. I've still got a fair bit to go, so I'm just going to keep on going. Right, our feature wall is now done. You can see it's drying slightly different rates in different places. The limes, there's different types of limes, so you get a heavy finish and you get a light finish, contrasting going on. And by tomorrow this will look really nice. And after 24 hours, I suppose, at least 12 hours anyway, I can then do the polishing of the plaster, burnishing with a trowel, and that will really bring a nice sheen to the finish. If I step back a ways, maybe you get an idea across the wall there. So yeah, and I think it'll be really nice when it's done. Right, so I'm back next day, and you can see the texture on the wall here in different places. I'll just come do some close-ups. So I'm just going to do a polishing or a burnishing on this wall this morning. There are 3 different types of lime in Volterra. I haven't got a light with me, but as I come back, you can see that the different shades will come out on the wall. So there we go. So with the polishing, it's just a burnishing with a trowel. Keep the trowel at a low angle, 20-25 degrees I guess, and it's literally scrape, push it across, and as soon as I start, you can immediately see the shine. Okay, and there's also some micropigments in this Volterra, and these will start to come out in different areas, to give you a different effect as I go. So I'll crack on and do a bit more, and then I'll take another video clip and you'll see what it comes out like. So I'm about halfway through now, and you can see how the shine has appearing on the wall as I polish it. Now, as the light hits it, you start to see the different textures, the different colours. I don't think the camera will do it justice really, but you can get the idea. And then we come down this end, there's still a matte finish. And it's important to say a lot of customers like the matte finish, and it's perfectly fine to leave it as it is. If it's in a high wear area like a corridor or the corner or behind a reception desk, or maybe behind a dining table where it might get hit by chairs, then a good varnish, which we also sell, is a useful thing to coat it with. If it's being used in a bathroom, you definitely need to use a sealer. It is a very porous finish, being a lime-based product. I would say with the burnishing side of it, I'm very left-handed, so I tend to go left to right, or go right to left. It doesn't really matter. Up and down. Once you're hitting the textures, you're starting to bring out some of the pigments underneath, and maybe up and down is better on some areas than left and right. So, and you can spend as long or as little as you want. A little sheen or a lot of sheen, it's really up to you. We've added stencils on the walls and used slightly different coloured material, so that maybe a mandala on the wall or a nice design. I've also seen people cut them, use a line and cut them so that it looks like a tiled wall, for instance. But it's very uniform, obviously. It's much more uniform than tiles. So the possibilities are really, really endless with this kind of product. If you've watched the video this far, thank you so much for staying with it. The wall is pretty much done now. Actually, it's done. I don't know if I can catch the light. There you go. You can just about see some of the light behind me there as it comes in the window. The light's not great in this room. If you're interested in learning more about Volterra, please message me. If you're interested in maybe me coming to do a workshop for you and some friends and show you how to do this, happy to talk to you about that as well. If you have a business or a shop and you're interested in stocking some of the products or maybe offering the products, we have traders discounts we can offer. It's, the possibilities are open. We're very much open for business, as they say. I'm just going to come down here a little bit. I'll do some shots of just the wall shortly. I was going to say, when you start out with these trowels, they're 3mm thick, and as time goes on, they'll get down closer to 1mm, easy for me to say, 1mm thick. And things like, you know, cleaning them on your trousers or wiping them, don't do that, because they cut and they can be very bad. So yeah, just a bit of safety there really. So I'll just take some shots and a clip of the other side now, because I can't turn the camera around while I'm recording. So now here's the wall itself. You can kind of see as it catches the light as we come down along. I'll do a long shot along it. You can see the outline of the window kind of moving along, and then I'll step back and you'll get to see the wall itself in all its glory, as it were. So yeah, client's here with us. She likes it a lot, which is the most important thing. And yeah, that'll be a really nice feature wall. There's a very large painting to go on there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that when the painting goes on.